because the Chiefs
Dang,
come
that
away.
segment was fucking terrible.
Was your idea?
The wild Bob and Bow shows. Not started off on a good foot.
The first question was great. Downhill from there. Unlike the Chiefs game against the Patriots, because
Yeah,
it
we're
was on
all
the
up
right
here,
foot
uphill from here, baby. Go Chiefs!
from
Yeah,
the very get go. We
uphill
won by
to the end of
10,
the season. Win out, except
27-17. Pat still a little shaky, a little bit, made a couple few bad decisions here and there. Uh, but for the most part, pretty okay game from the offense, except for a one troll, Mr. Kadarius Toney out there, who has decided to not only not catch the balls thrown to him, but actually just hand them over to the opposition more than a few times this season. What do you guys expect to see from Kadarius? Like, should we expect to see Kadarius Toney on the field continuing forward, or should we start to see his
yeah.
snaps being cut, much like MVS and Richie James?
Well, first off, I think Kadarius Toney
How
should be more
how
used as gadget plays, just in there for the gadget plays. Don't go out there consistently, just one or two plays at a time.
no, bro? You list him as a running back if all you're gonna do is fucking hand the ball off to him. He's more he. I mean, he's more valuable as a guy who can get the ball in different areas on the football field. Okay, like Kadarius Toney is shifty. I love to see him in space. He's just making a bunch of fucking bonehead plays this year and can't catch the ball in certain situations. Literally, just he gave the first game of the season away right to the Lions and looked like he tried to do it again this past weekend. But he's who we got. Sky Moore just went on IR as well,
Yep.
so the options are becoming more and more limited. And you see how long it takes to fucking integrate somebody into our system. Like we're just now seeing Rasheed Rice at like 100% capacity, and we expect them to throw Justin Ross in there. It's not gonna. I don't think that's gonna happen. Like we're gonna. I mean, we are going to rock with the guys that we have, and I don't know. KT's probably going to make a couple of big plays in the playoffs and the Super Bowl if we get there.
When we
Um,
get there.
when we get there.
Well, reports are that Justin Ross may not suit up for the rest of the season. That'll be a
I mean,
coaching
fans want him
staff
though.
decision.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we want to see him play. So
Andy
We're
did. Go ahead.
we're going to see a lot more Richie James coming up here soon too. He only got two snaps last game. Even Andy said after that, probably stole it from you there, but
Yep.
he's like, that's on me. He needs to play more.
but I don't know how
Yeah,
we can say it's snaps being taken away from him if he like hasn't been available yet all season. But
he's had more than two snaps in the previous few games since his return. So he has had some snaps taken away from him. With Sky being out and Kadarius continuing to mess up, I would expect Richie James to turn into probably receiver number three. I don't think anybody's going to dethrone Justin Watson just because the chemistry is there with Pat, and he's had a lot of snaps for a majority of the season. To have them take that away, as much as a lot of people don't like him, I think he's a pretty consistent force out there, regardless of how good he actually is. He'll just continue to get those snaps due to the chemistry that he has with Pat. But it was good to see a lot more of the 12 personnel out there. Noah Gray finally getting involved after a couple of weeks of basically just sitting on the sideline. So, like I was kind of alluding to in the pregame show, is like we're getting to these final four games. What we're going to start seeing is the true Chiefs, right? This is going to be the guys who are going to go into the playoffs. These are going to be the systems that we're running with. It could be a lot more 12 personnel with Noah Gray out there, Richie James as well, but we're definitely going to continue to see Rasheed Rice getting those 90% plus snap counts and stay out there with some more consistency across the board.
And that's the best part, putting up 27 points against the Patriots is because they are the number one defense in the NFL since week 10. So that was pretty impressive for them to come out and
A
actually
solid
score more than
defense.
20 points.
Yeah, I was
I mean,
really
even
surprised to
even
see us
with
play that
their
well.
like surprised, not for me. I think we went out there and handled business like we fucking should have. We have Pat goddamn Mahomes at the helm, guys. A team like the Patriots, they're 2 and what? They're 3 and what or whatever. Like their record is atrocious. And they've held other teams like the Broncos to 6 points. I know we had our struggles at some point in the season, but if you look at, you know, just the teams on paper, like we went out there and did what we should have. I'm not surprised.
Were you surprised to see how good Clyde played? Not only at the running back position, but looks to be our best or second best receiver out there. This is the Clyde Edwards-Helaire that we were promised with a 32nd pick in the draft 4 years ago.
Just takes them a while to get
Again,
warmed up, man.
it's against the Patriots. You'll notice Bill Belichick is if your one good weapon on offense is a tight end, you're screwed against Bill Belichick usually. Travis Kelce didn't have much production all day. He's fantastic at shutting down a tight end or just taking away one weapon that you have on offense. So the key to beating the Patriots is spreading the ball around, and utilizing your running backs is a great way to do that. So, like I said, it's the Patriots, guys. They're a bad football team. They might have a decent defense, but that's a bad football team. So don't expect Clyde to have too many more games like this against better defenses, better teams, or higher pressure situations.
Well, it's not like we play any better defenses in the remaining 3 games. Like
Talking
Sean said,
playoffs.
this is.
Talking playoffs.
I mean, this is the number. Sean just said the number one defense the last 10 weeks. Is that correct?
Since week 10.
Since week 10, I, I don't know if we can play a better defense than the Patriots.
Who they played?
Doesn't matter. Still number one defense.
It's a bad team.
What do we think of Rashee Rice breaking the rookie touchdown record for the Chiefs? He's got 7 on the year so far with 3 games remaining. He's averaging since coming on, since getting more than 50% of the snaps, I believe he's averaging a touchdown a game, very, very close to. What do we think of him breaking that record and moving forward through the rest of the regular season?
Starts him off on a better path than Tyreek Hill. And if this means his production ends up better than Tyreek Hill's production in the time that they play as a Kansas City Chief, I'm all for it. Rashee Rice looks like a legit number one receiver. At least a candidate for
Future number one.
some competition at the number one wide receiver position. So if his rookie year is starting out better than Tyreek's rookie year with the Chiefs, if that just means his production continues to grow and surpass that of Tyreek Hill.
Well, Tyreek was in his rookie year was a running back and a special teamer. He wasn't getting first team snaps.
I don't care.
He's off to a better start, damn it.
He's off to a better start.
Yeah. They're
ahead.
pretty much forcing him the ball down in the red zone. They want the ball in his hands. Good things happen when the ball's in his hands. He does have a little bit of a fumbling problem still, but he did recover his own fumble this week.
Everybody's
So
got a fumbling problem. There's a lot of fumbles in the NFL every week.
He is also third in the league for highest drop rate.
He's a rookie.
We are
He's getting used to it.
Tybo, you just said that Rashee Rice is in line or is right now number one receiver. I would like to ask, in a conventional offense, do you realistically think that Rashee Rice is a number one receiver where he is now? I know, Sean, you just said that future, and I agree with you. I think in the future he could be, but where he is now in the conventional offense, do you realistically think he is a number one receiver?
He is a number one receiver in the NFL, meaning I think he is a top 32 wide receiver in the NFL. Okay, like there are other wide receivers better than him. If you put him on a team with somebody top 15, like there's gonna be like no argument. There's gonna be a clear cut. Like there's a number one guy, and then you have Rashee Rice. But I
Okay,
think
I'll ask it this way. Um,
there would be one team out there that he could go start for, yes, and be a number one receiver.
so
If you added top 10, 15 guy right here with them, they become one of the best receiving duos in the NFL, if not
agreed.
the best.
I don't. Let's just for the sake of next season, and let's just say it was this season, Rasheed's rookie year, and you continue to give Rasheed the same production. So let's just say instead of T. Higgins being a free agent this offseason, he was one last offseason, and he ends up coming to the Chiefs. You've got Rasheed and T. Higgins. Is Rashee Rice the number one at this point in the season over T. Higgins?
T. Higgins' production, because he's been on the Bengals this year and they've been pretty shitty, hasn't been what everybody wants it to be. But T. Higgins is a better receiver than Rashee Rice.
Okay. So in a conventional offense, Rashee Rice is not a number one.
Not right now.
I mean,
Not right now. Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what you're asking, but because like there aren't in the lineup of 32 teams in the NFL, like he could be a number one receiver for like the bottom quarter or whatever.
Panthers.
Over Adam Thielen and
Yes.
his production this year? I don't think so.
Yes.
I think there's a large portion where he is not the number one on a large. I think there are a handful, and we are one of them. Maybe not even a handful, just a very small group in which Rashee Rice is not actually a number one.
Like I'd put him top 30, top 25 almost, but I mean that's kind of pushing it.
Like just looking at the list right here, obviously us
He can get
because he is
separation.
our number one. His average route depth is 3 feet. So that just shows to me at the moment not able to really run routes.
I mean, they started to throw it down the field to him
That's not
more
his fault.
recently.
He's running what they're telling him to run.
He's running what they're allowing him to run due to capabilities. If he could run further downfield and create
If so,
separation,
fact so,
would be.
You're fucking bald.
Like he's obviously number one for us. He'd be a number one for the Patriots. That's not a question.
Giants.
But going down this list, yeah, Giants. So Giants are 3. Going down this list, there's not too many other teams that I'm putting him as a number one.
Cardinals.
I'm probably put Hollywood Brown up above him.
He can't play this year. He's got a heel problem. It's like third game in a row he's tried to start and fucking not played.
Okay, so I mean, you take Hollywood Brown out, sure. You leave Hollywood Brown on that team, no.
It's pretty close for me. I see them as a very similar style of receiver.
All the way down to the NFC South. I'm still not putting him over Adam Thielen. Like so you add the Cardinals in, that's maybe 4. You take the Cardinals out if you count Hollywood Brown, 3 teams that he's a number one receiver on. It's not. It's very few.
And we see it differently. That's fine.
The defense finally came alive. My boy George Karlaftis, I called him getting 2 sacks. I don't believe he got 1. But the defense finally came alive.
My boy George coming alive.
With nothing.
The rest of the defense came alive. Willie Gay getting his first interception of the year. Really weak for him to
Remember
not
last
get any
season when he wanted to fucking lead the league in
interceptions.
Interceptions.
Well,
last year,
last year he
not this year.
wanted. I was gonna say last year he wanted to, and I think he was suspended for 4 games, and he was also injured for like another 3.
Wah, wah.
But I thought it was pretty weak of him to not lower the shoulder and get in the end zone this week off of his interception. He had 6 guys in front of him and had the ability to get in there and just decided to run out of bounds very weakly.
He's thinking about fantasy football. He wants somebody on the offense to get into the end zone.
He's got Pat at quarterback.
Yeah.
But how about the rest of the defense? And we're going to start throwing out some names here, like Nick Bolton finally being back and we're able to stuff the run. Zeke coming off of a massive week the week before and not doing really anything in this game. You
Drew
got
Tranquil looked pretty good coming back,
out of concussion protocol, laying down some big hits,
flying
flying
around.
around.
Drinks.
You got Justin Reed back there. Thought he got banged up on a couple of plays, but he has been a force this season to be reckoned with. And nobody, there's been a, I've actually seen quite a few people on Chiefs Twitter calling out Justin Reed, saying that he's not been good enough. He's been one of a top 3 defensive player for us, if not top 2.
Well,
Hey,
leadership. I mean, it's while Nick Bolton is out, I understand you give the green dot to Drew Tranquil, but leadership in the secondary, even when Nick Bolton's on the field, Justin Ross. I mean, it's kind of
Reed.
like captain out there.
That's
God
fine.
damn it, Justin Reed. I said Justin Ross earlier. He was on the tongue. He was on the mind.
Hey, so about a guy that we haven't mentioned probably since at
Here's
least
the guy.
as far as I can remember, week 2. What happened to Felix? What's going on with him? Is he getting any snaps anymore?
He's getting snaps. He was actually on the box score. He's getting very minimal snaps due to Charles Omenihu coming back. We already knew that this year, prior to Omenihu getting the 6-game suspension, was most likely going to be a red shirt-ish type season for him. But that's been even more diminished with Charles Omenihu being a Kansas City Chief and back in the starting rotation.
We need to get him some more reps, man.
I would like to see him get a lot more reps, but that's a tough group to break into. That's not an easy group to get in with.
Look, I love seeing the defense play the way they did. Again, guys, it's the Patriots. But health is a big factor going into the playoffs. We've seen guys here and there go down. So I would love to see more people on the bench at all position groups, more people lower on the depth chart. Just get a little bit more snaps. The last few games of the regular season, just so we have everybody healthy going into the playoffs. I don't want to put it, I don't know. You want to put your best players on the field, but we don't have a tough schedule last few games. So
Play these guys more.
yeah, you know,
Play these guys more.
conserve Nick Bolton, conserve Mike Edwards at safety. Like let's
Let them
rotate
earn their
some-
game check.
Let's rotate their game, rotate some people in. You know, L'Jarius Sneed, like let's not get him hurt. You know, come on. You know, how many times am I gonna say before I get fined?
Go ahead, write it down. part of L'Jarius Sneed also getting as many snaps as he did this past week, and potentially moving forward, is due to the injuries that we've seen across the defensive backs as well. We obviously know about Brian Cook, but a late game inactive was Josh Williams. So we will potentially see our DB staying out there a little bit longer than we might like to see them on the occasion during these last 3 games, just due to inactives, injuries, and trying to get guys healthy as fully as possible all the way into the playoffs.
We're not going to end this show without pointing out the fact that Ty Bob called the Patriots to cover this game.
I did. Not far off.
You're still off, and that's a
The spread was 7.5. It's 10.
That's
That is a loss
for the week.
Yes. Yeah.
First loss.
Love to see it.
First
Love to
loss.
see it. of
They didn't.
many.
They didn't play on Thursday.
Doesn't matter.
Can't,
We're talking about it first in this show.
well, we've already covered the Thursday night football game and your loss in that.
Congratulations.
So second
That
loss.
was on last week's episode, okay?
Listen, real quick, let's talk about maybe some players of the game. Who stood out to you guys in the game against the Patriots? Hopefully getting some momentum for the remaining 3 games.
I'm gonna go with 3 guys right here. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith. Those guys getting out in the open field, blocking for Clyde on that screenplay. That was beautiful to see. They did not know what they were doing out there. Just 3 big guys running down the field trying to find
Too much
somebody
green
to find.
grass. We
Too
don't know
much
what we're
green
doing that
grass,
far
man.
down the field, guys. We have no idea what we're doing that far down the field.
It was beautiful to see.
We've already talked about the man. Rashee Rice is the man going forward. I don't care if it feels like we're force feeding him the ball. Get him the ball. Because great things have been happening.
I'm going to go with Chamari Connor, a guy who stepped up out of nowhere, lower on the depth chart, as Tybo likes to say, came in, was elevated on the depth chart due to the injuries, came in, did his job, walked away with a couple big plays, a couple big pass breakups, was able to really elevate the play of the defense throughout the day. And a guy, hey, if we've got some depth pieces there while some guys are out, he's a guy that we don't have to worry about when it comes to the playoffs should he need to step in.
Yeah, I mean he's looked good since the preseason. He's a guy that loves to come on the blitz. So we've true Chiefs fans that have paid attention should know he's solid on the low end of our depth chart.
If you're a bandwagoner, you wouldn't know who he was
Would
stepping
not.
in on Sunday.
Would not. Who's this Jamari Connor guy? He's pretty good.
How do you say his first name? Bunch of weirdos.
All right.